Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Vinland Saga. Last time around we had the King of Rebellion, where after taking 100 punches, Thorfinn, I was gonna say picked himself up. He was still standing, honestly. He just dusted himself off and went and talked to Canute with Einar. So yeah, they went to try to persuade Canute to not, just kind of not, and Canute was like, nah. And they talked about, why make war, why do all of this, and Canute was like, we're trying to defy God, make a paradise on earth where I can save the Vikings. And Einar rightly pointed out that it's like, so you're going to save the Vikings at the cost of everybody else's lives. Really great of you. And so yeah, and then Canute was like, well, what are you going to do to stop me? And then they surrounded Thorfinn and Einar, so yeah, there are, could be some problems, so, yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Yeah, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Vinland Saga. Here we go. There is still one more episode of this season. Like, with the way this episode went, it honestly seems like a season finale. Heck, it almost seems like a series finale. Like the story could just end here, honestly. But no. The story is not quite over yet. For one thing, we gotta make a stop at Iceland. We gotta make a stop at Iceland to see his family, and it's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting. Hopefully his mother is still alive, because she was sickly 15 years ago when he was a kid, but hopefully his mother is still alive. I imagine his sister is still alive. It'll be interesting because it's not like they saw what Thorfinn has been through, like Leif. And even Leif hasn't seen everything, but like there are so many people that have seen what Thorfinn was and what he has now become. And yet, his family, his mother and his sister, haven't. So, it'll be interesting to see what they think of him 15 years later. 15 years! Like, let me put this into perspective, at least for me, so you can put this into perspective for yourself. How old was I 15 years ago? I'm 27 now. So that's what? I would have been 12? I would have been 12. So at this point, I'm 6 years older than Thorfinn is. I'm 6 years older than Thorfinn is. So, at age 12, what was I doing at age 12? I was in, what? 7th grade, I want to say? I was in 7th grade. I do remember 7th grade. I remember a bit of, what I looked like. It was basically less of this, obviously, because I was younger, but less of this. Don't have the beard. I think I wore glasses in 7th grade. I wore a hoodie throughout 7th grade. I don't remember why, but every day I wore a hoodie. And then I did have this long hair, but obviously there was more hair around here, and it was probably way greasier because I washed it once a week, maybe. So yeah, man. So from there to now, that's a long time. 7th grade, that was what, 2 years before I made my first YouTube channel? So what's that, 2009? Good grief. So that's just putting it into perspective. Put it into perspective for you, too. Now, if any of you put into perspective in the comments and say, well, I am 15, so it would have been since I was born, it's fine. I'm just going to feel really old And I'm also going to question why you watch Vinland Saga at the age of 15. That said, I guess that's good, I've seen, because obviously I've seen there are teenagers that watched, like, Attack on Titan when it came out. And that probably isn't a good thing for a teenager to be watching. Honestly, it's not a good thing for more people to be watching. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, well, if you're 15 and you're watching Vinland Saga, that's not bad. Honestly, there are, that's, I mean, you gotta get past some of the violence, but, like, there's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of good, if you are 15, or if you are a young person, if you are a young adult or teenager and you're watching Vinland Saga, good for you. Good for you, because you're getting very good lessons at an early age. It's the same as, I hope young people watch Mob Psycho, Like, these two shows, as different as they are really good messages, It's amazing that they literally started questioning the peace talks that were happening. Like, these are the strangest peace talks that have ever happened. And there's nothing there to be like, well, if you don't stop, then I'm going to have to stop you. Like, there's none of that. He's literally like, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing to stop you. If you go do this, I'm going to run. That's it. I'm just going to, turn tail and run. And that's that, And it's like, well, even if you make this new paradise, what if my reach finds you? It's like, then we're going to run somewhere else. And we're going to keep doing that until we're out of places to run. Then we'll fight. But that's once we've exhausted the entirety of planet Earth, And I love that what could be the worst possible peace negotiation talks were actually the best. Because they talked. They actually legitimately talked. And it worked. And Canute ended his whole thing. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. Are we going to get Canute next season? Like, this honestly feels like the end of Canute's story, Because, like, that's it. There's no more conflict for him now. I mean, maybe Floki, but who cares about Floki? I mean, I guess maybe Thorgil, because he's all pissed. But who the hell cares? I guess we also don't know what happened to Thorkel. Like, we've literally only seen Thorkel once this season. And it was him being pissed at Canute, But that was it. So maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get, like, a coalition of... An alliance of battle-hungry warriors that are going to go against Canute. But quite honestly, I just don't see that. I don't know. We could very easily get Canute, because Canute has been a major character, He was a major character in Season 1. He was still, even though we've seen less of him, he is still a major character in Season 2. And heck, the entire, like, climax of this season has revolved around Canute, Has been because of Canute coming to, take the farm. So I don't know. Like, are we going to get more stories with Canute? Because it really feels like he's finally figured it out, No more of this, of literally his father's voice echoing in his mind, what it means to be a true king. You should kill him. He's dangerous. He is the sheep that could lead the flock away, and you are the shepherd who must keep them in line. So he stopped listening. Like, Thorfinn literally snapped him out of that by being so unpredictable in like a good way. By being, he's so good. I love, it's a funny thing, because, like, one thing about, like, about some shows, the discourse around some shows right now, I'm just gonna say, around Demon Slayer, I feel like there are a lot of people that don't like Tanjiro because he's a good boy. Like, he is just a straight, good, wholesome guy, And I see so many people that hate that, and I'm just like, but why? That's, like, good. He's a good boy. It's great. And I've come up with this term that we are Walter White-pilled. that everyone, people want their protagonists to be these edgy anti-heroes, that they make the hard calls and stuff. But in honesty, that's not really that good. It also falls apart because Walter White himself, like, the show Breaking Bad will go out of its way to show you how pathetic he actually is, But everyone sees, it's the people that see that cool side, the people that hate Skyler, the people that just want Heisenberg, and it's like, no, we can have a good boy. And that's definitely so. It's the Walter White pilled. It's the, I would say Eren Yeager pilled. I think Eren Yeager fans are also bad Breaking Bad fans, Like, that's definitely it. I love, though, that this story shows Thorfinn being this, edgy. He's not a hero. He's just a warrior and stuff. I love that we have actually made him into a good boy. Like, Thorfinn is now such a good boy that Canute was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. I'm not going to make more work for him. Like, if anything, Thorfinn saved Canute. They bring up a little bit, they brought this up just a hint, but it's an interesting thing where it's like, Canute wants to save the Vikings, basically. Thorfinn wants to save the people that are going to be, basically he says, you oppress few to benefit more, There are more people that will benefit from what Canute is doing, but there are people that are being oppressed, that are being put down by what Canute is going to do. And Thorfinn wants to save those people from him. But the funny thing is, and they barely touch on it, that includes Canute. Because Canute, by being what we've said all along, the king of the demons, but he himself has not been a demon, At least originally, he was not a demon. But he viewed himself as the king of the demons. In the same way we've talked about Askeladd, he is the demon who kills demons, Canute is the demon who rules over the demons, But where he is trying to save the demons, or the Vikings, who's left to save him? Thorfinn. And he just did. He just saved him. There you go. We did it. We did it. So I love that in our world of edgelord protagonists, Walter White, even though the Breaking Bad goes out of its way to tell you no, not actually Heisenberg. The show it'll show you Heisenberg, and then it'll remind you he's Walter White. That's the difference, But we have that, But the people that love Heisenberg, who say Skyler is the devil, the people that will say Walt did nothing wrong, the people that say Eren Yeager did nothing wrong, and because I know this exists, the people that say this season sucks, and I know they exist. People say, oh man, season 1 is so great. Season 2 is just boring farm stuff. These people have no media literacy. I'm going to tell you that right now. But yeah, it's like we've literally taken that sort of edgy Eren Yeager protagonist, and he himself has been saved. Not even by... Well... I was going to say not by anyone in particular, but I guess you could say he was saved by Askeladd, Maybe even a bit by Canute. I mean, you could assign different people of who saved Thorfinn. If Thorfinn saved Canute, who saved Thorfinn? I would say Canute to an extent because he did grant the mercy of not killing him and just selling him into the slave trade. Askeladd, I think you could say because he allowed, basically by dying, he allowed Thorfinn to get away from that. I mean, a lot of it I would say is on Einar, definitely. They kind of saved each other, if anything. So, but that's the thing. And I'm so glad to have a story like this, you know? Because one of the things, like, at the end of Attack on Titan, and I said as much in the final video I did on it, but at the end of Attack on Titan, when all the dust is settled and everything is said and done, I just kind of look at it and I think, what did we accomplish here? Like, nothing happened, really. Because at the end, slight spoilers, it's like, well, you know, Eren, well, I guess this is spoilers, but, you know, Eren wipes out 80% of humanity, and so they're left picking up the pieces, and they can't, you know, be terrible anymore, you know, now that they're survivors. But the people on the island are now terrible, and they are now rising up as a military power to oppress people. So nobody learned anything then, you know? Like, literally nothing was accomplished. And at the end, you see, like, another 2,000 years pass where... You see another 2,000 years pass in, like, the end credits where we see civilization being brought up, you know, next to the tree where Eren's head was, I guess, or whatever. And it's like, what did we learn? Nothing. Nothing was accomplished here, you know? I don't know. And I guess, you know, with this, it's like, well, it's not like the whole world has changed. But Thorfinn has changed. Canute has certainly changed, and that does impact the world. That impacts Denmark and England. The English, like Thorfinn just saved the English. He did. Thorfinn just saved the English with this, basically. And he didn't intend to do that. He's just trying to help the farm, you know? But he just saved the English because Canute basically abandoned his plans. Like, no, this isn't going to work. We can't do this. We cannot do this plan. And instead, he backed down. He disbanded the army within England. And the English people, having just gotten out of a terrible war, were like, you know what? We're going to leave Canute as our king, because now he has put his trust in us, you know? He has disbanded his army. He didn't need to do this. But he has taken a good route where basically, yeah, he disbanded the army. He trusts us not to rebel against him. So how about we don't? Let's not make trouble for this. You know, he's going to be the king. Whatever. You know? Whatever. It's not like, you know, because this is back when it's like, okay, he's the king. We have to pay taxes to him. If Canute wasn't the king of England, someone else would be the king of England, and you'd have to pay taxes to them instead. That's it. That's the only difference is, you know, who's at the top of the food chain, basically. Doesn't matter. Someone's up there, you know? So all of this, like, the entire season's worth of Canute's plans for paradise, you know, paradise on Earth, you know, save the demons, being the king of the demons, and all of this, and he finally realizes, no, this isn't helping anything. This isn't helping anyone except the Vikings, who already have power. They already have power. They already have security in this world. They already have happiness in this world just by doing this stuff, just by attacking, you know? They already have their place in this world. All you're doing is ripping away other people's place in this world, you know? Now, the poor oppressed English people don't need to move to Vinland. They don't need to set up a colony for 500 years or so. So, of course, even then, that was really just for money. So, anyway, there's a stark difference between the colony that Thorfinn wants to create and the colony that Christopher Columbus wanted to make. So, why am I getting a text? And so they have left. I just looked at the time. We got to wrap this up at some point. We got to wrap up this talk at some point, so let's start winding down. But it's so great. They did it. He did it. That is impressive. It is impressive how he did that. How they actually did it. In the weirdest peace negotiations of all time. It actually worked. Because Canute is a good person. You know? Canute is a good person at the end of the day. He's still the young man that was raised by Ragnar and his brother Harold. And he's probably going to have to deal with the fact that he killed his own brother. You know? He's going to have to come to terms with that fact, and that's probably going to be difficult for him. But while yes, unfortunately he did kill his brother, luckily someone came and stopped him from making things worse. That's just great. And Almar, oh my god, I need an entire... Guys, who has a 45-minute video essay on Almar's character arc throughout this season? Because, oh my god, I feel like I've been sleeping on this whole time. Almar's character arc, what an interesting thing. Because if anything, he just kind of had like the truncated version of Thorfinn's story, you know? If anything, Almar, I would hope would be almost an audience surrogate, you know? Where Almar would be the young man who wants to go do these things. He wants to go into battle. He wants to do these things. Which, you know, we've seen a couple times. I mean, Thorfinn we've seen once. We saw that with early Thorfinn, but we saw that with some of the other young men that were at the village in Iceland, you know? These young men that were eager to go to war. Almar was honestly just a worse version of that, because not only did he want to go to war, he was also angry all the time. He was angry and angsty. But then seeing that and how he transformed over these 4 years, until eventually getting to this point where he is happy and content farming. He sees the beauty in it now. He sees the calm, the serenity in just being a farmer instead of being a warrior. He has tasted war, and he doesn't want to go back. And not only has he seen war, but he's seen the good man that he could become. And so he wants to be like Thorfinn. And I love Thorfinn acknowledges, you made the decision to stop fighting. You're already on your way, man. You're already on your way. And so just seeing at the end, just that nice, tender moment of just him and presumably his wife, the young farm girl, just doing their work. It sounds lovely. It sounds lovely, honestly. There's a line in Everything Everywhere All at Once where the husband Ki Hui Kwan. I always mix that up, and I think I put an extra K like in the middle of that. But Ki Hui Kwan, yeah, his character. They're in the alternate universe where like they were successful, but they were never married. And he says to the main character, Michelle Yeoh's character, he says, honestly, in another world, in another timeline, I would have loved just doing taxes with you. Doing taxes at a laundromat we owned. You know? Like, we've had all this success, but we drifted apart and everything. He's like, I would have loved to just have a peaceful life with you. And that's great. And that's where Almar is now. And so, we're off. We are off. The Farmland Saga is done. We are off to New Horizons. Quite literally, you know what? It's kind of like Animal Crossing New Horizons. I didn't get into New Horizons as much as I did New Leaf on the 3DS. But I got New Horizons, man. If I could start over, I would absolutely A, call myself Thorfinn, and B, call my island Vinland. That'd be amazing. Maybe I should go back to that island. I played for maybe a month and then gave up on that, so, oh well. But yeah, we got one more episode left this season, and then we are on break until season 3, but I am quite excited. I'm quite excited for the next episode and for the eventual return of one of the greatest pieces of media of all time. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Vinland Saga reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.